It was 1986, and U.S. News and World Report came out with a front page story about school dropout rates, and my congressional district led the nation in kids dropping out of high school.
In our community, it is considered to be, we sort of battle this avalanche of public sentiment that education is not important.
You've got to have confidence, you've got to have connections, and you've got to have choices in life. And in order to do that, then you've got to be on an education track that's going to help you accomplish all of that.
We've had, in recent years, a lot of people begin to question the idea of whether we can, at this point, continue to practice education the way we practice it historically, or is there a need to bring about change in terms of how we educate and relate to our children. I think the biggest shift that I would make conceptually is that we need to begin to think about individualizing and customizing learning much more than we have in the past.
If we do not have an educated population, then rural Appalachia is going to suffer even more as we move into the 21st century.
I first didn't believe it, but began to inquire and confirm that it was true. So I called together regional leaders in education and government and economic development and the like for several retreats. We bandied about what could we do to try to wrestle with this problem. And out of that group came the organization called Forward in the Fifth.
Well, I think the congressman, I've heard him say on several occasions that when he got those initial statistics about the educational problems in this region, it was almost an unbelievable thing to him. I think any time a region picks itself up by the bootstraps, uses internal resources, musters the indigenous leadership, so to speak, to move ahead, then I think it's an inspiration for all.
Forward in the Fifth began as a grassroots education organization to meet the challenges of raising the educational attainment level of the people in the 5th Congressional District. And I think that that's a reason that Forward in the Fifth has been able to continue to meet these challenges, is that we've never lost sight of what the goal was, and that is to raise the educational attainment level, and we've remained steadfast in that.
When communities take ownership of the issues they encounter, they become part of the solution rather than part of the challenge. Forward in the Fifth's Local Education Affiliate Program, or LEAP for short, is a grassroots initiative that assists local communities in doing just that. Clay County has faced the persistent problem of a low high school graduation rate. With a little bit of funding and a lot of encouragement from LEAP, this community has had and continues to see some notable results.
The Forward in the Fifth Board realized that as rural Appalachian counties, we sometimes have needs that need to be addressed that do not take a lot of dollars, but it's difficult to get small grants. This was an easy way to get some money that was very targeted, very specific for one program, and then allow us to build upon that. It served as a baseline for our work on graduation rate and allowed us to build and do other things with it. For many years, our district has talked among the educators, oh, we have to do something about our graduation rate. So about 18 months ago, we decided to reach out and have what we termed the graduation summits. We also know that we need to reach out and get ideas from other partners. So we reached out to Forward in the Fifth, Eastern Kentucky University, Berea, Hassan Davis with Juvenile Justice, Dr. Aaron Thompson with the Council on Post-Secondary Education. But most importantly, we brought students in and we listened to what they said. One of the ideas that the students had was to do a media campaign. And it was such an easy, quick idea. And that's what we wrote our money for LEAP, was to do this media campaign. So we have posters and we have banners. The students designed the slogans. They kind of thought up the ideas. And from there, that's where we used our LEAP money. And I can happy to say that last year was the first year we made our graduation rate in Clay County. When we reached out with the graduation summits, we also reached out to our Chamber of Commerce and to our business. We had the mayor there, the county judge executive, and I think for the first time everybody realized, whoa, this is not a school problem, but this is a community problem, and we all have to step up.
One of the exciting things about this project is this is something that you can see immediate results in. This is one of our major data points, is how many students are graduating from high school. And we want every child to be able to graduate from high school on time with their class. And we know this, that if a child does not graduate from high school, their options are so limited. There's so few things that they can do in life. You can't go to the military without a high school diploma. Even that is shut off to a child. So it was very appealing to us because it gave us a point of conversation. It allowed us to be able to focus our attention on that. It provided necessary funding to be able to support that. And it really, it helped that conversation begin to really take off. It had taken place in sort of pieces, but never systematically. And so that's one of the things that this project allowed us to be able to do.
Transitions into middle school and high school are pivotal in the success of our region's young people. Collaborating with Lindsey Wilson College, Union College, and the University of Pikeville has enabled Forward in the Fifth to foster mentoring programs that pair college students with a younger peer to provide guidance, support, and to encourage them to pursue their education at all costs. Kayla Osborne, a student at the University of Pikeville, is one of the program's volunteer mentors.
My experience with this program has been very productive. I'm very blessed to be a part of it, and I've enjoyed having the opportunity to be a part of this program. I would have to say it's impacted my life in several different ways, because not only have I been involved in my mentee's life, but it's also affected my life as well. I've seen changes within her personality, more or less her just being able to open up and share like what's going on personally in her life, as well as in the classroom. I think if it wasn't for this program, she probably wouldn't have opened up to me as much as she did, because it's enabled her to say that she might be struggling in a certain classroom or a certain subject, and it's enabled me to help her progress in the classroom. I find myself doing things in the classroom that I've taught and introduced to my mentee, such as like organization skills, attendance. I know that was a big issue in the schools right now, is attendance. And just introducing them to my life as well as them introducing me to theirs, because hopefully this will encourage them to be college students someday themselves. Forward in the Fifth has given all of us an opportunity by helping us out with this program. It's helped the university with the students that are participating in the program, because it's enabled us to be in a classroom setting and to really see how things are changing. You know, the older that we get, it's changed a lot from when we were in school at that age. But it's also introduced college life to them as well, hopefully enabling them to come to university, or any university for that matter.
Encouraging and supporting students to earn their high school diploma and pursue some type of post-secondary education is the mission of Forward in the Fifth's College Access Network. Students have the chance to explore potential career interests and receive help planning their path to a meaningful and rewarding vocation. Winston Hall is one of those students who is making the most of this opportunity.
I got news that I was having a little girl, and I knew that most people don't really have the easiest time in high school, you know, working. So I figured it'd be a little bit easier for me to be able to get a job if I dropped out first. I went into the youth service center to I already had my parents in there and everything, drop out, and they introduced me to the tech school. They showed me that it's a lot easier than dropping out. The career that I'm interested in would be carpentry. The Area Technology Center, they've always been real helpful as far as you got any kind of personal problems, they help you out like pretty much like a counselor would. And then the opportunities like the scholarship or the credits we get for college and the ONET certificates and stuff like that helps you pursue your careers. And like all the staff, they're terrific. The College Access Network, they've inspired me to go to college more due to the fact that I've been helping them encourage other students to go to college. Whenever you're trying to encourage other people too, I mean, it kind of leaves you saying, yeah, I'm definitely going. By the time it's all over, after I attend college, I'm planning on going for 2 years at community college to just get my basics and stuff like that. And then I plan on going to EKU for 4 years to do what this is here at the tech school, a carpenter teacher is what I want to be. For all the other students that's planning on dropping out, I'd like to just say, you know, there's other opportunities out there. You don't have to drop out to do what you think you need to do. Sometimes whenever things get rough, you kind of just go with the easiest path, but really you just need to stay in school, get your education. It's better for you and it's better for your future family.
The messages that students receive both in and out of school have an important influence on whether they stay or drop out before graduating. Peers, parents, and other adults strongly influence decisions that affect students' futures. With that in mind, Forward in the Fifth developed the Stay in School Toolkit. The Toolkit DVD features interviews with 8 people from Eastern and Southern Kentucky who describe what influenced their decisions to stay in school or drop out, and how those decisions affected their lives. The Toolkit's discussion guide addresses key ideas from each of the 8 stories. Teachers or facilitators can use questions in the guide to help students explore their own influences and choices.
I was eager to participate in the Stay in School Toolkit work group because that would give our students and our faculty resources with other districts who are facing the similar problems. And this has allowed us to come up with different and unique ways to either keep kids in school or help them return back to school and see the value of completing their education.
I thought the Stay in School Toolkit was a nice piece, allowing students to see by example just exactly what are the benefits and maybe some of the pitfalls of dropping out and the benefits of staying in school.
I think it will be of tremendous benefit, not only to teachers with kids, but to parent groups, to people who can hear the voice, the absolute voice of the mountains speaking to them.
Science, technology, engineering, and math, students engaged in lifelong solutions, or STEM cells for short, is a Forward in the Fifth program with 2 outcomes. The first provides a venue in which middle school students are engaged in a hands-on, inquiry-based day camp and explore areas like physics, astronomy, microbiology, robotics, and chemistry. The second immerses middle school teachers as co-facilitators of student instruction in the program, giving them new strategies and content to take back to their classrooms. A critical partner in this program has been the University of Kentucky's PIMSR program.
We've had this Appalachian Math and Science Partnership project in 39 of the southeastern Kentucky counties for 10 or more years. The grant ends, all grants end, and you cannot sustain the best practices from these grants unless you form partnerships with the people who know what needs to be done in the districts. We partnered with Forward in the Fifth with these summer workshops in that. And we found then that we could see the excitement and the potential of not only continuing but possibly expanding those. We saw the enthusiasm of the students. We saw that the parents were pleased with what was going on. Again, I think everybody's pleased with that it is a partnership. But what we really are concerned about is that we bring all of our students up to an achievement level that will make them not only competitive nationally, but that will attract industry and economic development into this underdeveloped region. And we know we can't do that without adequate and even superior science and mathematics education. So the workshops in the program that STEM sells really sort of exemplified just what we want to achieve in a partnership. We want to bring together expertise from the faculty at the University of Kentucky who are experts, but they often don't know how to use that expertise to bring the educational level up. And you can't do that again without the partnership. You know, you can know something, but unless you know how to translate it into the proper way of instruction and communication, then that knowledge goes nowhere. And that's why it's so important to work with Forward in the Fifth, because you've been there, you're there, you know the people, you know the challenges and the barriers. By working with us, we can bring both of those things together.
With new Common Core standards and related assessments being unveiled across the Commonwealth, it became clear that teachers would benefit greatly by further understanding the learning outcomes with their peers. Forward in the Fifth's teacher academies provided intensive professional development to enhance knowledge and skills surrounding content, standards, and assessment strategies. It was this group of educators who were some of the first in the state to become students using this approach.
Forward in the Fifth, I think, is a very student-centered organization. It's really looking at how can we help educators, how can we help communities really advance the achievement of our students. I was really interested in participating in the Summer Academy because this happened at a time when Kentucky schools were getting ready to go through a great deal of change. This was the time Senate Bill 1 had passed, which is now unbridled learning. There were a lot of changes coming down the pike. And my role as instructional supervisor, working with schools in our district, working directly with teachers and professional learning communities, I felt like I needed support myself in how to lead teachers through this change. And while the agenda was very focused on social studies, I could tell through the program description, through who the facilitator was going to be, I already knew the work of our facilitator. I knew that this was going to be a program that was really going to help me to help teachers. The Academy really helped us in a very practical, hands-on way to learn how to do that. I think the Academy sort of functioned like a professional learning community would, and we were there working with our colleagues around these activities. There's very little sit and get. It was roll up your sleeves and, let's get to work. So I was really happy to have been accepted into the Academy and felt like it was something that was really going to help me in my day-to-day job.
The true measure of any organization's success is demonstrated by the living out of its mission through individuals. What better example of this exists with Forward in the Fifth than through Irvine native and retired basketball coach Lee Rose. Now residents of Charlotte, North Carolina, Coach Rose and his wife Eleanor have visited each of the 42 counties in our service area. Coach Rose shared his emotional story of a challenging journey from his childhood in Estill County to becoming a successful collegiate and professional basketball coach. More than 11,000 middle and high school students were inspired by his message.
In the year 2000, I was with the Charlotte Hornets, and we were playing in New York City. And after or before the game, I had gone down to the coffee shop and had gotten the New York Times. And going through it, there was an article, and the article said that poverty and illiteracy in Appalachia is moving too fast forward. And so I took that article and I shared it with my wife. And at that time I told her, I said, what I want to do when I get out of coaching is I want to go back to where I'm from in Appalachia, and I want to contribute back to try to help kids who are struggling or thinking about going to school. For me, my vehicle to be able to talk to them was the basketball, because I was a coach. I had coached. I'd gotten all my education at Kentucky. I went to Henry Clay, Transylvania, and the University of Kentucky. I understood the extreme amount of interest that is on basketball. And so when I talked to them, I said, you have to have a vehicle. You have to have something that you can depend on that's going to help you get there. Mine just happened to be sports and basketball, but then yours could be many different things.
We went into all of this with many questions, many more questions than we had answers. But 11,000 students later, and 42 schools plus later, I think we realized that one of the things that was such a byproduct of Lee's motivational speaking to the students was it gave them someone from their area that they could relate to, and they said, if he can do it, perhaps we can. I had a neighbor in Charlotte who asked me one time when she knew we took off and did this and made this trip and expended a lot of energy and a lot of miles and a lot of curves. And she said, well, do you think it does any good? And it kind of took me back. And I said, well, I certainly hope so. And then I realized that for us, it was pretty much like planting a tree under which you know you will not sit.
Well, I hope to remain an active part of Forward in the Fifth for many years to come. And I hope that, that Forward in the Fifth can be a catalyst to really renew passion for valuing education in our school communities.
I think the best motivation is the motivation that comes from within. And that's the kind of leadership that Forward in the Fifth has provided. It's given teachers, students, parents, all the stakeholders an opportunity to motivate themselves from within to improve the educational process.
The basic goal, the foundation of this organization, is to encourage our community leaders, citizens in every county, to be involved with their school toward the idea of promoting that kid to finish high school.
Irish poet William Butler Yeats said, "Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire." Forward in the Fifth strives to be the spark that lights that fire. Our grassroots initiatives continue to unite educators, community leaders, parents, and students in a productive force that will raise educational attainment levels of Southern and Eastern Kentuckians. We engage in, advocate for, and support excellence in education. Our vision is for residents in our communities to have the educational opportunities necessary to live full and productive lives. On behalf of Forward in the Fifth, I'm asking for your support. We need voices and hands in every community. Those who are willing to help define community challenges, develop plans, implement strategies, and financially support our educators, students, and communities to become the best they can be. I think Eleanor Rose, wife of Coach Lee Rose, sums up the efforts of Forward in the Fifth best when she said, "It's pretty much like planting a tree under which you know you will not sit." Join us in planting the seeds of the future for all to experience the bounty of educational excellence. We look forward to adding you to our team.